Hi, I am Bhavik Thakkar. Welcome to Btitude. If you're more comfortable with Hindi language, please hit the I button and watch the Hindi version of exact same video. But if you are comfortable with English, let's carry on. Well, in this particular video, I have come up with a very interesting question from Alligation and Mixture. Now, this is a question which most of the students are failing to solve. And this is a very important question because this kind of the questions are asked in the recent examinations. Now, I've come up with a very good method to solve this kind of a question. Now, as usual, Btitude is not going to tell you the shortest method directly because what we aim at doing is to develop your logic. We want you to develop your logic, not borrow our logic. There is a difference between the two, if you can understand. We don't want you to borrow the logic that is there from our side, because when you borrow the logic, it will work only in that particular kind of a question. But if you develop your logic, you can solve any different question based on that particular topic. Fine? So, we are not going to solve the question directly with shortcut. We are going to give you the basic concept by which that can be solved, that is equation. We'll understand how equations can solve this particular question. Later we'll also understand how you can go by options to solve this particular question, and of course the logical method. And Btitude method is not either of them. Sometimes Btitude method could be going by an option, going by an equation, sometimes it could be a logical method, sometimes it may be a combination of 2 or 3 methods. Like sometimes we may start with logic, but then we will go by option, or we may start with logic and then we will frame a little bit small equation and solve it. So are you getting this? Btitude method is the shortest method possible to solve that particular question, and it comes, you can grow that kind of logic, you can develop that kind of lateral thinking once you know each and every method. And that's what we'll be working on. You have to understand, you have to develop the concept. If you understand the concept, then if you see my videos, if you go through the various questions, you will start developing lateral thinking, and then you will start developing your own logic, which is important, right? Which is what is required to solve the questions with the shortest method, not borrowing the logic. So don't borrow my logic. Don't think that, okay, this is the method to solve this kind of the question, because if you really develop your logic, you can answer any question. Fine? So let's look. You can of course pause the video and start solve the question on your own first, because this is very important. When you solve the question on your own first, there are some parameters, there are some concepts which are related to this, and you will come across them. You will have to apply those logic, you will have to apply the concepts that is within you. Fine. And once you do that, and after that when you watch my videos, you will be able to understand more easily. You will be able to develop lateral thinking easily within you. Fine. So always start solving the question first on your own. Pause the video. Fine. I'm always giving you the question. You can pause the video and solve it on your own first. Right? Alright, then let's start solving this question. First, the first normal method would be the equation method, right? That's what we'll do the first. Like, how can we solve this question? Now, as soon as we look at the question, the average weight of the class which contains 10 students is 25 kg. That means total weight is 250. Fair enough. Total weight is 250. Now, of course, because new students are coming, total weight will increase. So, plus. Now, how much it's going to increase? We don't know. It says some students have joined. We don't know the number of them. We don't know the average of them. So, we can say, okay, there are n number of students who are joining with the average weight of say x kg. So the total weight of new students will be nx, right? So final total weight of the whole class becomes 250 plus nx. When you divide the total weight by total number of students, which is actually 10 students were there before, and now how many students have joined? N students. So you can say 10 plus n. These are the total number of students after the new students have joined. So total weight by total students give you the new average is nothing but because they are saying average decreased by 1 kg from 25. If it is decreased by 1 kg, that means it has become 24. So this is the first equation you get. Of course, one equation, two variables cannot be solved, right? But then at the same time, there is another equation as well, because they have given that sum of the average weight of new students and the number of students. So they are saying number of students plus the average weight of those students. That means n plus x, and that is given as 27. So there are two equations, right? One is this and one is this. Of course, there are two equations, two variables. You can solve it, but we are not going into it. Of course, you can solve it, right? We are actually right now explaining to the students who have got basic knowledge and they know how to solve these equations. But of course, we are not going to waste our time solving these equations. That's not the wise method, right? That's not the shortest method possible. It's just that we should be conceptually clear. We understood this particular method, right? But being conceptually clear is not good enough to crack this kind of entrance exams, where you have to find out the shortest methods possible. So now, how can we solve this particular question using some other methods where it could be really shortest? Let's try to figure it out. The second method, that is how we can go by option. So you can also go by option, right? How? If you know the concept well, right? If you knew the equation method, then and then only you can find out the logical methods behind it. So we could have figured it out. Why two frame equation? We can understand that, okay, total weight is 250. Now we don't know why to put nx. Nx is nothing but the total weight of new students, and that's what the question is all about, and that's what the options are there. Why not to go by options? We can say, okay, if we go by options, say for example, first option. Now, how to choose option is also very smart thing, because we cannot waste our time taking each and every option and calculating the stuff. We can understand one thing, the total weight, total average, new average becomes 24. So the total weight has to be a multiple of 24. Fair enough. So if I add, say for example, 140, it becomes 390. 390 is not a multiple of 24. So most probably it cannot be the answer. 180, if I add 180, 250 plus 180 becomes 430, which is not the multiple of 24. Why the hell I would choose them? But if I choose 110, 250 plus 110, if I go by option, it's 360. 360 is divisible by 24 because it's the multiple of 24. 24 when multiplied by 15 will give you 360. So once your basic maths is clear, you can easily divide and multiply. You can easily choose the option as well. You can easily think, okay, let me try 110. It's anyway, it's the first option. But we are not here just lucky that it's the first option. We can, even if it was third option, we would not have chosen 140 or 180. Because when you add them to 250, the total weight is not the multiple of 24. So of course, it cannot be the answer, right? So 250 plus 110, if by option we go that this is the total weight of new students, this is the total weight 360, because total average is 24, the final average, 360 divided by 15 is 24, that means total number of students is 15. Now try to understand, there were 10 students anyway, so if total number of students is 15, that means 5 new students have come, and if their total weight is 110, that means their average is 22, and 5 plus 22, isn't it 27? Yes, it is. That means this option is correct, because when we took it and when we used it, we could get each and every condition satisfied. Fair enough, right? So here, Btitude method was this only. If you are good enough with your calculations, and of course, if you are good enough with your concepts, because if you don't know this concept, you know how to solve them with equation, you cannot figure out the shortcut. So conceptual clarity is the king. If concept is the king, right? If you are good with your conceptual clarity, then and then only you can think of the shortcuts, right? So that's what Btitude works upon. We build your concepts. We build your concepts. We make you build your concepts in a proper manner. Fine. And of course, for this, we have to go, step by step. Because when you learn step by step, that is where your logic develops. Most of you are good enough. If you are watching till this point, that means your basic concepts are good enough. But what I want is, I want you to refer us to your friends who are not that good. And we actually here on online and offline batches teach our students from the very beginning. We help them building this kind of the concept step by step, right? So please do that. Refer, give reference of us to your friends. And our online and offline, both the batches are going on. Even on online, we teach on the smart boards, and you can actually ask the questions as well, because we have got a speaker. So while going online, you can ask the question. It's going to be live lectures. Plus, you can also watch our recorded lectures on your app, on our app like Btitude app, right? If you download it. So all those students who are getting enrolled are given access to those kind of things in our app. Anyway, there was third method as well. These were not the only two methods. There was third logical method as well, that is aptitude method. Now, aptitude method is where you use your logic. So if you really understand here, it was alligation and mixture kind of concept, because two different groups are combining, and then combined average is given that it is decreased by 1. That means combined average is becoming 24. So you could have actually used alligation and mixture method as well. You could have thought that, okay, one group with the average of 25 kg weight. Another group, we don't know the average. Neither we know the numbers. But we know that combined average is 1 less than 25, that is 24. Now, we also know one thing, that the students here are 10. We don't know this student. But then another thing that we know is the sum of these two, new students and their average weight. The sum of these two is 27. Right? Now, because average is 24, the grand average, the combined average, one number will be bigger than this, one number will be smaller than this. So if this is 25, this has to be less than 24, right? One more, maybe some less, maybe 23, 22, 21, anything could be there. So if we think logically, okay, let me think, if I make 23 here, okay, now we know how alligation and mixture works. The difference goes to the opposite side. So difference between 23 and 24 is 1, 25 and 24 is also 1. So the ratio is 1:1. If this one stands for 10, this one also stands for 10. But the sum of 23 and 10 is not 27. That means this may not be the correct option, right? So we'll have to think of some different option. Maybe think about 22. Forget about this. If it is 22, now think about this. 22 and 24, the difference is 2. 24 and 24, difference is 1. Now, if this 2 stands for 10, 1 stands for how much? 5, obviously. And 22 plus 5 is 27. There you go, right? So, you could have actually gone by logic as well. But here, going by an option was the Btitude method, as it was the shortest. So, it is not the logical method which is always going to be the shortest. And how do you learn Btitude method? That is when you know each and every method, because when you know each and every method in your mind, and if you have practiced enough, you can figure out which one is going to be the shortest. Fine. So that is how it goes on, and I hope you are loving this, right? So the answer would again be 22 into 5, because we are not supposed to find out the total number of students. New students is 5, their average weight is 22, but we are supposed to find out the total weight. So 5 when multiplied by 22 gives 110. Fair enough. So I hope you are enjoying this, right? There is a homework question for you as well. Fine. There is a homework question which you should answer, and you can actually put the answer in the comment box. But before that, I would again urge you, I would again request you to forward this video, share this video with your friends, and ask them to join our batches if they really want to learn this kind of the methods from the very beginning. That's what we start from ABC. Okay, we even start from the 4th standard maths. That's where we start from. So we make your logic with the concepts and fundamentals. Fine. All right, then I'm giving you the question here. Please answer this question. Fine. I hope you can answer it, and you can actually answer it with the Btitude shortcut. Put the answer in the comment, and if possible also put your method there, so that I can also tell you how it could have been done and how you did it. Fine. If the answer was good, good enough. But if your method is also good, thumbs up for that. Fine. All right, then I hope you enjoyed this one. Keep watching, keep learning, and have a nice one.